Dave, just wanted to ask you about life on the road in the early going here, and obviously, guys are pretty limited in what they can do. As are you guys, is there much as a club you've been able to arrange for them just to try and help with some of the monotony and help with how different things are this year?
Well, the hotels are set up very well. They've got a lot of players' lounge in there that they've got video games and a ping pong table and stuff set up. The meal rooms are all set up very well. There's a weight room in a conference room at the hotel. So there's been the hotel. I mean, this is our first hotel we stayed in, but they're really doing a nice job of making sure that the players have space to be with some social distancing, but yet have some some opportunity to get out of their rooms. So, but you get on the road, you're just you're playing so many games. It's just you practice, you're eating, and you're trying to get some rest. So it's not a lot different, other than you're eating all your meals right in the hotel.
And just maybe a thought on your next opponent. Do you expect it to be a fairly different style of game than what you just came out of, or what do you think the main differences would be?
Well, I hope our style doesn't change. I think we played two pretty solid games. Yesterday was a little more wide open than the day before. A lot more chances created, but they were both tight games, hard-working games that a bounce or a mistake here or there dictated the outcome. So I don't think it'll be any different in Winnipeg. There's with this division. I mean, every game has a playoff feel to it. So you're going to go into it with that same mindset from our end. We'll get a chance to watch Winnipeg tonight against Ottawa and see what we get.
Jim Matheson, Post Media.
Couple of things, Dave.
Yeah.
Yamamoto's play on the goal that Draisaitl scored, is that a typical Yamamoto play where he hounds the puck?
He's excellent. He's really played well. He's his stick work and just the way he stays on pucks is it's remarkable how well he or how many things he can disrupt from the other team. He reminds me, and this is a high compliment. He reminds me of a player that I used to have in Dallas named Yuri Letnin. The way he just his stick and gets in lanes and comes up with loose pucks or creates loose pucks. So he's had a real good start to the season. He plays hard every night, and you just love his tenacity around the puck.
And is there any possibility you had Jesse on the ice late in the game with Connor? Is there any possibility that Jesse could play with Connor tomorrow?
We'll see. We'll see where things go. Well, I'm gonna, make sure we go through our game. We've got a couple injury issues that we're looking at that might be a concern for tomorrow. But Jesse's game has been good. He's playing a North American style. He's competing hard in the corners, going to the front of the net. So his game is moving in the right direction. So we'll see where things go.
Reed Wilkins, 6:30 Chad.
Thanks. Hi, Dave.
Okay.
Dave, there were some players brought into the team to provide a little depth offense who are still looking for their first goal of the season.
Yeah.
As a coach, do you need to do anything just to make sure, their spirits are still up? Because, sometimes guys stuck on that zero, it can weigh on them a little bit. Just wondering your approach to that.
No, it's certainly a concern. You want to get everybody up and going. We chart a lot of stuff with scoring chances, stuff like that. That you can. There's times when players are getting chances and it's not going in, and you can keep them up that way. And there's times when you wish they were getting scoring chances, but they're not, and you got to make some adjustments. So everybody wants to get on the board, especially early in the year. And to your point, new guys coming into a team, they want to show that they're contributing. So it's a bit of a concern, but we feel like I feel like the last two games, the Vancouver game was a good game for us, but the second Vancouver game, but the last two games have been strong games, more like the way we want to play. So hopefully, some of the pucks will start going in for some of those guys.
And I suppose just mainly from seeing him on tape and maybe coaching against him a couple of times, but I do want to ask your impressions or scouting report of Pierre-Luc Dubois.
Well, I doubt that he'll play the next few games. I would think there'd be some quarantine stuff, so I'm not I'm not sure on that, but we'll see where that goes. He's a big, strong player that obviously, not so much this year, but in years past has been a kind of a dominant center. So we'll see what we get with him.
Derek Van Diest, Post Media.
Dave, I just want to ask you about Dominic Cahoon and how he's kind of fit in on that second line. He looks like he's a kind of a good skater, an aggressive type guy, and he seems to have pretty good offensive instincts.
He does. That line's been pretty good, and they haven't scored as much as they probably like to, but they're around a lot of chances. And Cahoon is he's a guy who plays off Leon really well, but he's quick. He makes good plays. So the line has been pretty good. And Yamo, like we talked about, has been very good also. But I like what they're doing. Hopefully that some of these chances they're creating will end up in more goals. But they've been a pretty solid line so far.
Heading into Winnipeg, I guess, is it going to be nice not to have to worry about Patrick Laine for 9 or 10 games or however long he gets plays?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you're switching Laine out for another real good player. So, you always you understand what the other team's doing and what's going on, but really we concentrate a lot on what we're doing. But the more good players you have in a game, the better a game it will be. So it'll be a great challenge for us.
Jack Michaels, 6:30 CHED.
Dave, apologize a little bit for playing the what-if game, but does that game become a different game if you're able to solidify that kill and take 1-0 lead for a few minutes here and kind of keep building that just because of the momentum turn?
Yeah, and we were a little bit ragged in the second period, and we turned over some pucks that first period I thought we were real strong. Second period we were a little bit ragged. And they got a break on that. It's funny, we have a chance to clear it, we don't clear it, and then Shoresy's helmet's on crooked, and he was trying to put his helmet back on straight, and they hit a guy in the back of the foot, and it goes in the net. So that's one of those ones you just have to deal with and overcome. But we'll see. I mean, we gave up some chances on the PK last night that were not like us. I'd rather see shots coming from outside than the middle, but we'll make those adjustments and move forward.
And by and large, to kind of follow up on that, I'm not trying to say it's a good loss or anything, but 2 games against Toronto, did you see a comfort level in those tight, low-scoring games from your team that you can build on, that they're comfortable playing at?
There's some things that we can build on for sure, but every game you take a lot of positives out of them, and you take there's some errors that we got to clean up, and just having the fortitude to stay with the game and not make some of the mistakes that we've been making. Those last 2 games have been better, but we still got to get better yet because we haven't got the exact results we want.
Jim Matheson, Post Media.
Any chance that Caleb Jones might get back into the lineup? And the other question I have for you is, what do you think Yamamoto learned from the playoffs last year against Chicago?
I think he learned how hard it is. When the games you're playing for keeps, it's a harder game to play, and he plays a hard game anyway. But it's when the games are very tightly contested, there's less space out there. He has to recognize he can have an impact by not, it's not all freewheel and stuff. He can have an impact by the work he puts in, and you're seeing that results this year in these tight games. Jonesy is available. We're looking at a couple of things a couple bumps and bruises there, so we'll see where the lineup goes tomorrow.
Last question, Bob Stauffer, 6:30 CHED.
Hey Dave, I'll follow up on Maddie's question. And I get it, you're playing for wins here, but you've had Bouchard here since the start. He's been moved to the taxi. Mm-hmm. I realize he's inexperienced, but just a thought on, is he an option, and are we getting to the point where he hasn't played for so long it makes it more difficult to put him in?
No, he's still an option. He's working hard in practice. I give him credit there, but we're carrying. We've got 9 defensemen with Bouch there, and it's there's He's a good power play guy. You look at our power play has struggled a little bit, so we've had conversations about that. Whether we get into a situation where we play 7D and try to get him some minutes and get him up and running, but we'll just kind of monitor that situation. And he's a good young player that when he gets his opportunity, I think he's going to jump in and take off. We're just got to find him that opportunity.